Real estate contracts have many, many applications. It's a great tool to sell vacant land. A lot of commercial buildings sell with real estate contracts. The reason being is that it could have been an income producing property for a particular owner for a long time. And maybe they don't want to get rid of the cash flow, but they don't want to manage it anymore. They don't want to deal with leasing agents. They don't want to deal with maintenance, taxes, insurance. They just want to collect a check every month. And so if you own a building and let's say it's worth $1 million, you might get $100,000 or $200,000 down and you'll get $7,500 a month. And now instead of managing 4 or 5 different people to collect your rent payment, now you're just collecting a mortgage payment in your retirement years. Vacant land, same thing. Somebody might be wanting to buy an asset like vacant land because maybe they want to build a home in 5 years or in 10 years. Or their grandfather told them that in order to get rich these days, you have to buy real estate. You got to buy property. And maybe they can't afford anything other than a piece of land out in the boonies. And so they buy a piece of land, they make small payments towards that land, and then eventually it might be worth something more than what they paid. It could be great for passing property to an heir. So let's say you have a family property that somebody passes away and the family now owns this asset. And they don't necessarily want to sell it to a stranger. Maybe they want like their nephew or their son or daughter to move in, but they don't want to give them a free place to stay, right? That's generally not a good spot for anyone to be in. It's just given a bunch of stuff. Like they want to make them work for it. So you might set up a real estate contract where that individual pays a certain amount of principal and interest every month. And eventually they're going to own it for themselves. And the estate would take that money in and you can distribute it at will. So there's many practical applications for a real estate contract. A lot of people think that a home or a property has to be owned outright to be sold on a real estate contract. You can do what's called a wraparound real estate contract. A wraparound real estate contract wraps the underlying note, and the original owner of the property is still responsible for that mortgage payment, but they've created an avenue of collecting revenue from another prospective buyer. And eventually that loan gets paid off in full through either a refinance or a full payment. So many different applications. Anybody right now sitting on a loan that's more than 6 years old or 5 years old, interest rates in the late 20 teens were at historic lows. I mean, gross lows. Like, I mean, unless you have one, then you think you're like the coolest person in the room if you have a low interest rate. But if you're sitting on an interest rate right now that's under 4%, your loan itself has some intrinsic value, not just your house, right? Because you might be able to sell it on a wraparound real estate contract for 6% interest. So not only are you selling the home for what it's worth today, but you've created a 2% delta between your interest rate and the interest rate you're passing on to the next buyer. Plus, the original loan, you might be 10 years deep into that loan. So you're 10 years deep into that loan. Every payment that you make, you're paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars of principal because loans are front loaded. So you're able to really maximize not only on the value of the home, but you're able to make a little bit of spread on the interest rate. Hey everyone, Michael here with Absolute Real Estate. Thank you for watching. Do me a favor, like and subscribe below. And if you want more information on real estate and real estate investing, check out the links below and I'll see you on the next video.